You're not broken because your mind won't be quiet. You're not failing because your thoughts don't stop when you meditate, or because you wake up already flooded with worry. We've been taught that peace is the absence of noise, that to be calm we must silence the mind, control the thoughts, fight them off like invaders. But Jung offered something radically different. He believed the mind isn't an enemy, it's a messenger, a mirror, a voice from within trying in the only way it knows to keep you safe. The more you fight your thoughts, the more they fight back. Not out of malice, but because what's repressed doesn't disappear, it hides, and then it grows louder. So what if the answer isn't to fight the mind, but to listen? In this video, we're going to explore how to quiet the mind without resistance through Jung's lens of shadow work, archetypes, and inner awareness. You'll learn how overthinking isn't your flaw, it's a misunderstood signal, and how the most powerful silence comes not from control, but from presence. So if something in you already feels this truth, if a part of you is tired of the inner war, breathe with me now. And if you're ready to explore a new way of peace, one that doesn't involve fixing yourself, just leave a like. This could be the moment you finally hear what your mind's been whispering all along. Let's begin. You try to stop thinking, and suddenly the thoughts multiply. You sit in silence, and the noise gets louder. You try to meditate, and your mind begins its usual dance. What am I doing? Why can't I focus? Maybe I'm just not built for this. Sound familiar? This is the paradox. The harder you try to control the mind, the more control it gains over you. Jung understood this deeply. He knew that anything we try to push away, to silence, to avoid, doesn't vanish. It slips into the unconscious. And from there, it doesn't rest, it directs. Thoughts are not random. They are a part of a living system, your psyche. And when you fight them, you're not calming your mind. You're splitting from it, rejecting what's already yours. This is the origin of inner conflict, the self trying to speak and the ego trying to shut it up. It's like trying to quiet a crying child by locking them in a room. They'll scream louder, not softer, not because they want attention, but because they need to be seen. Your mind is no different. Every repetitive thought, every intrusive loop, every mental storm is a signal, not a flaw. And the more you resist, the more energy you feed into the storm. You weren't meant to dominate your thoughts. You were meant to dialogue with them, to become curious, to ask gently, what are you trying to tell me? This is the shift Jung invites us into. Not the path of control, but the path of consciousness. The mind never acts without a reason. Even in its chaos, it is trying to protect you. It loops thoughts to prepare for pain. It rehearses disaster to avoid surprise. It revisits the past because something unresolved still believes it needs to be understood. To Jung, the mind is not a machine. It's a living system of symbols. Each thought, each worry, each image, a messenger from the depths of your psyche. But we rarely listen that way. Instead, we judge. We label ourselves as overthinkers, broken, scattered. We believe our thoughts are the problem when they're really the symptom. A symptom of disconnection. A symptom of parts of you asking for reintegration. A symptom of a nervous system still on high alert long after the danger has passed. Your mind is trying to do something sacred, keep you safe, even if it's clumsy, even if it hurts you in the process. It worries because it doesn't want to be blindsided again. It replays the argument because it believes maybe this time you'll respond better. It fills the silence with chatter because silence once meant abandonment. What looks like dysfunction is often just an outdated form of self-protection. And when you see your thoughts this way, not as enemies, but as messengers, something softens. You stop trying to crush the noise. You begin to listen. And in that listening, you begin to remember something deeper. You are not your thoughts. You are the space that hears them. And that space is where healing begins. Jung didn't ask you to suppress your darkness, he asked you to meet it. He knew the danger wasn't in the thought itself, but in the way we exile it. In our rush to appear together, we shame the parts of us that are confused, afraid, chaotic. But what if your chaos is just a call for connection? This is where Jung diverged from traditional psychology. He saw neurosis not as a failure, but as a communication breakdown between the conscious and the unconscious. Your anxious thoughts, your compulsive loops, your mental noise, they're all voices from within saying something important is being ignored. So the work is not to shut them down, but to shift your posture toward them. Instead of saying, "Go away," you ask, "What do you want me to know?" Instead of analyzing the thought, you feel into it. What image comes up? What sensation in the body? What memory does it echo? This is not about fixing, it's about facing. Jung called it active imagination, not fantasy, but dialogue, a way to meet the psyche as a living presence, not a problem to be solved. And as you begin to engage your thoughts with curiosity, not fear, not judgment, the inner noise often begins to change, not because you forced it to, but because it finally feels heard. This is the true shift, from mind as battleground to mind as doorway, from suppression to integration, from noise to meaning. And curiosity, gentle, honest curiosity, is the first breath of that transformation.
Peace isn't something you achieve, it's something you allow. And the paradox is, the mind becomes quiet not when you make it, but when it feels safe enough to rest. Just like a wild animal won't come near until you stop chasing it, your mind won't settle if it senses resistance. But when you sit with it, listen without forcing, breathe without expecting, something begins to shift. This is the essence of presence, not doing, not fixing, just being with what is. In Jungian terms, this is how the self begins to emerge, not through suppression, but through integration. When the conscious mind stops pushing away the unconscious, a deeper intelligence comes online, one that isn't reactive, but whole. You don't have to fix your thoughts. You don't have to silence your fears. You only have to notice them, welcome them like distant relatives, and let the breath be your anchor. Feel your feet on the ground. Place one hand over your heart and ask, what would happen if I didn't resist this moment? Often, the noise softens, not because you won, but because you stopped the war. The mind, left unpushed, has a wisdom of its own. It knows how to come home. It just needs you to open the door. And that door opens not with force, but with presence. You've been searching for silence as if it were outside you, as if peace was something you had to earn, fight for, achieve after years of effort. But the truth is softer. Silence isn't something you make, it's something you return to. When you stop resisting your thoughts, when you stop treating your mind like a mistake, you begin to hear something deeper, a quiet that was always there beneath the noise. Carl Jung reminded us, what you resist not only persists, but grows in size. But what you listen to, what you gently welcome, often dissolves. So today, you don't need to do more. You don't need another technique. You simply need to pause and feel your breath again. The way it rises, the way it falls. Ask yourself, what have I been fighting in my mind that actually just needs my presence? And if something in this video opened a door for you, share it with someone who might need that door too. Leave a like if you felt seen here. And tell me in the comments, what does your mind do when you stop trying to fix it? I'd love to hear your voice in that space. And now, you'll see two videos on your screen. Each one is a continuation of this path, one deeper into the breath, the other into the self. Wherever you go next, go gently, because the mind doesn't need more force. It needs more of you. Let's keep walking.